Hey y'all, welcome back to another Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 episode 13 review. I'm Charmaine. Welcome back, like I said, or welcome if this is your first time. Over here we get right into it, so let's go. And as I always say, if I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at my notes. And y'all got a lot of notes for this episode because I feel like this episode was pretty impactful. So let's begin with Shamia, Kelly, and Brit. The ladies, well, I shouldn't say the ladies, but Shamia and Shamia. Shamia's at her house gathering all her donations to send off to Grenada. I remember last review, I was making fun of Shamia saying how she was gonna, give money to send money to the island, and, clothes and stuff like that. I missed the part on that episode where they had a hurricane, and which I knew that in real life, but I didn't hear that in the episode or whatever. So I had made fun of it, saying, girl, why is she treating Grenada like a third world country? Like they need, her money and clothes and stuff like that. So, but that was the reason. So I after watching this weekend's episode, last night's episode, because today is Monday, y'all, I'm doing this review. But anyway, after watching last night's episode, like I said, they were all sending in their donations. They were at Shamia. Well, Shamia was at her home. Her and her little baby girl, Shia. Shia was helping her, get everything. Shamia had a bunch of stuff that she was donating to the island. So shout out to her. Shout out to all the ladies that donated to the island. Shout out to my Caribbean people, them, period. Okay, all of we as family. But anyway, so, well, I'll say, so Shamia was trying to convince little Shia, like, girl, you're going to have to let go of some of your clothes. You can't fit these. We're going to send it to the people who need help. Shia was like, but I can't fit them. Like, she's so cute. I just want to know if Shamia was in the room when she was when Shia was conceived, girl, because that baby looked like her father had her all by himself, okay? She don't have nothing, in my opinion, of Shamia, okay? She looks exactly like her father, just a cute, adorable little porcelain chocolate doll version. She has such a beautiful baby, girls. But anyway, so then we see Kelly roll up to Shamia's house to help out and, of course, bring her donations. Why is Kelly so loud, y'all? Like, why is the lady so loud? Like, what is her problem? Like, where does she store all that loudness in her little 4-foot nothing height? Like, she's so loud. But anyway, she comes or whatever, and she brings her energy and stuff. So, like I said, her and Shamia, they're getting the things together and stuff like that. And here comes Brit rolling up with her one box. Now, don't get me wrong. You donate what you can. I'm not checking somebody or shading somebody except Brit for not donating enough, because Brit should have been ashamed of herself. She coming in toting this box like it's all heavy and stuff. Girl only got a few pieces of tissue papers, tissue rolls in there, and a couple boxes of the tissue. Now again, every little bit helps, but at the end of the day, baby, like, all that designer stuff, mind you, she walks in there with her Irkin bag. Okay, yes, I said Irkin, because baby, those bags go for $20,000 and up. Okay, and if this is all you could donate is tissues, then your bag is fake as fuck. Okay, anyway, so she comes in here toting this box, making it seem like it's really something in there like that. And Shamia opens the box. She was like, this box is empty for the most part. Like, just like her head. Just like Brit's freaking head. She's an earhead. Like, and then she gonna stand there and lie and say, oh, because they asked her, is this all? And she's like, well, I got a bunch of other stuff that's gonna come later. I couldn't get it all in a car, so somebody's gonna bring it later. So Shamia was like, well, how much later? Because they get ready to come pick this stuff up in an hour. She's standing there looking stupid, knowing she was lying. Girl, you ain't had no other stuff to donate. You came there toting box of tissue, and Shamia made fun of it because she was like, oh, I get it. I see what you're doing. Your boxes is bare and naked, and yes, they are. Once again, because didn't she give them a bare and naked box at her event too? She didn't even bother to dress the box up, put no filling in it, no paper, no nothing, girl. She just threw the daggone shapewear in it in an empty ass box, and then she came to Shamia's house with another empty ass box to get to them people on the island of Grenada, child. But anyway, that's Kelly for you. I mean, not Kelly, that's Brit for you, child. Just empty-headed. So, so Brit starts to ask Shamia basically how she felt, you know. But before that, before she asks Shamia how she felt about, you know, the event, you know, her and Drew going back and forth with each other for the most part, because Brit never misses an opportunity to make shit about her, right? She never ever does. Any and every opportunity she gets, she tries to make it, or she tries to make shit about her. And she starts talking about how, you know, basically blaming her event planner for her tacky and foodless event that the girls was invited to, child, down to the golf club. So then, like I said, she's asking Shamia how she felt about what took place with Drew. Shamia ain't really had too much to say about it. She actually said that. She like, I have nothing else to say. When somebody keep calling me names, keep calling me a lapdog, you know, it is what it is. I have nothing else to say. Shamia, I know you don't have nothing else to say, because what can you say? Like, the facts are the facts, right? Like, Drew is not lying. You have continued to prove her right each and every time, her and others. So then Brit asked her about her sit down with Porsha, and she, you know, kind of kept it short with that as well. She said, yeah, they did have a sit down or whatever, and that every relationship takes work. So basically, she gonna keep working on it. So Kelly, you know, chimes in, and she's just like, she hopes that the trip will basically reset the group. So moving on. So now we come to see Porsha and Drew finally having their sit down to talk about Porsha's issue with Drew. And it didn't go well. It didn't go well, just like I knew it wouldn't. But surprisingly, it didn't go well, not because of Porsha, but because of Drew. So the ladies start out having some tea or whatever the case may be, but before that, Drew is rocking, you know, some go naked hair. She has a blonde wig with the bangs or whatever the case, and she tagged go naked hair in the post that she's wearing this hair. And Porsha's like, that's not go naked hair. So the producer was like, well, she said it is. And she's like, well, it's a mixture. Porsha goes, it's a mixture. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, it didn't look like go naked hair, because I ain't gonna hold you. Porsha hair, her bundles be looking right. Porsha hair is like, to me, the hair that she wears. Now, I don't know if Porsha, I'm assuming she wears her own hairline, go naked hair, but Porsha bundles be top tier, okay? Top tier. So I don't blame Porsha for saying, you know, that didn't look like hers, because it did not to me either. But anyway, like I was about to say, the ladies, you know, the waitress brings them some tea, and they kind of get right into it or whatever. So Porsha actually admits that she was upset about Drew and Dennis filming together or whatever. And Drew basically, you know, brought up the fact that, well, hey, you were filming with Ralph too, and Angela's the one who told her. But she brought up the fact that she was filming with Ralph too. And again, to Porsha's defense, Porsha was invited there. It was Shamia and Ralph who were filming together initially, and then, you know, obviously Shamia invited Porsha. So it wasn't just like, you know, her, it was her and Dennis, I mean her and Ralph filming together, and that Porsha was doing like a tit for tat. I didn't really get that from Porsha, like she was doing a tit for tat. Like I said, she was invited there by Shamia, so it kind of wasn't the same. But Drew felt like it was. And yeah, and y'all know how I feel about the whole Dennis and Drew thing. Like I said, Porsha made a big deal out of nothing. I feel like Porsha was just dragging it out for a storyline, because she had really nothing else going on aside from her still fighting to divorce Simon. And so she, you know, she had to have something else to grasp at. And that's what she came up with, you know, Dennis and Drew going behind her back, filming and possibly sleeping with each other. And so, so then Porsha told her that, you know, she didn't tell Drew that it was Dennis. She told it to us and the producers that it was Dennis who told her about how Dennis told Porsha that it's not him that Drew is messing around with or dating. It's their friend Black. You know, I'm assuming he's a dude who's a part of this whole team, this music, you know, this new team that that Drew works with musically or whatever. And then because they showed the picture of all of them, but Black's face was blurred out or whatever. And from what he was wearing, you know, I'm hoping that Drew is not dating this man. And I know I didn't see his face, and he could have a great personality. He could be fine as hell. But from the neck down, the attire that we saw on that night, I mean on that day with that picture, I'm hoping Drew, because Drew said he's just her friend. She's like, that's her friend. She's not dating nobody. And she don't want to jeopardize her future with her kids because Ralph is petty. Because Porsha was like, well, people who get in divorce date. But Ralph is petty. You know, we all see what he's putting Drew through. So I'm with Drew on that. Like, I wouldn't date either. Or at least I wouldn't let it be known. Okay, so, and that's probably what it is. She's probably just denying that she's dating anyone at this time because she don't want Ralph to get wind of it. Because, again, he's being very, very petty during this divorce. But she tells Porsha that Black is just her friend. They are not dating. You know, and she's not trying to date anybody. And then she brings up to Porsha, you know, well, you know, you out here dating Future. And they blurred his name out. But we all know what she said, honey. But she's like, you out here dating Future. Porsha denied dating Future. Or whatever. She's like, I am not dating Future. Porsha, I give it to her, you know, at this sit down because she did keep it cordial. She did keep it cute. You know, she didn't come to fight with Drew. It seems like she didn't come to fight with Drew. She wasn't getting turned up. You know, she wasn't, you know, doing all the ish that she was doing prior to, you know, when it's the group of them, you know, and she be going at Drew's neck. So I commend Porsha for that. But again, Porsha wasn't even buying none of what Drew was saying about her not dating this dude named Black, because we all know Dennis told Porsha. Porsha said to the producers that Dennis is the one who told her. And, you know, Porsha wasn't buying the fact that Drew said she's not dating anybody. She's not dating Black or whatever the case. But who cares, to be honest? Like, who cares? Like, but again, I feel Drew if she don't want it out there for obvious reasons, you know, and who cares who Porsha is dating? Like, you know, who cares? So, like I said, Drew is insisting that she doesn't have a boyfriend. She's not dating anyone. Then they kind of start to talk over each other. So, you know, I was kind of annoyed with Drew at this sit down because she kind of wasn't letting Porsha speak. You know, I feel like the point of the sit down is so that you guys could resolve this Dennis and Drew freaking debacle, and y'all could get what y'all have to get off your chest on the table and move on from it. But and it seems like that's what Porsha was actually there to do, but Drew was there to fight. Drew was there to fight or whatever. So then Drew tells Porsha, you know, like, you're going through a divorce too, so your energy and your smoke is really not real. In other words, it's not, you're not really mad at me. Okay, I'm just the one who's catching all the strays or whatever. But and Porsha was like, you know what? Your energy is kind of combative right now. You know, I didn't come here for this. And Porsha started gathering her things to leave. And I do not blame Porsha, because at the end of the day, like I said, in that moment, Drew was doing the most. She really wasn't trying to hear Porsha out, and it seemed like Drew was there to fight and argue with Porsha. Not fight physically, but y'all know what I mean. She was there to physically argue with Porsha, and to me it didn't seem like Drew really wanted to get resolved. I understand that she was trying to, you know, show Porsha like, hey, you putting these rumors out here, but what about this? You know, what about you and yours? And what about your, you know, like, I'm not putting rumors that I heard about you in Future out there in the streets. So why are you trying to put, you know, rumors about me and this dude Black or whoever she dating or whatever the case? I get that she was trying to get her point across, but the way she was going about it wasn't the right way. And, you know, it turned Porsha off. It turned me off, shit. So Porsha got up and left, and I would have did the same thing. So, yeah. So then we see the ladies, they all start, you know, getting themselves together, start packing for the trip or whatever to Grenada. Angela is still hoping and praying that that one property get sold before she goes to Grenada. They show her walking through the house with her daughter Amari, and her daughter's like, what grade would you give it right now? She's like, a F. And she tells her daughter, it would be so nice if you could get this sold by the time, you know, I get ready to leave. I didn't know, like, you know, her daughter was on board, you know, with that, or, you know, real estate and stuff like that. And I don't know, but at this point, I think Angela should look into maybe renting out the homes, all of them, because if all your properties that you got, girl, is sitting there and just not making no noise, then nobody's looking to buy, maybe you should look into renting. I don't know if she is renting out other properties, but she maybe need to look into renting the one that she really wants sold that's just not getting sold. Like, girl, there's plenty of people out there that will rent your property as opposed to buying it in this economy right now. So we see Kelly and her, at home with her 4 daughters. They are all so cute, and I just like seeing her with her daughters. I don't know, I just feel like it's just so wholesome, because I feel like her daughters keep her grounded a little bit. So she has the twins, and she has her 12, who are 8 years old, and she has her 12-year-old and her 17-year-old. So they're all in the room. The twins want to know, girl, because Kelly tell them that she going on a trip to Grenada, and they like, where is that? So the babies, when I say babies, I mean the 8-year-olds. But they're like, well, where you going? How long you going to be going? When you coming back? Who going to take us to school? Girl, they had lots of questions for their mama, right? So Kelly was like, well, we could have, I'm going to ask Uncle Lamont, who's her publicist, I believe, and longtime friend. So she tells them, I'm going to ask Uncle Lamont to see if he could take you guys, to watch over you guys and take you guys to school, because she also did mention to her girls that she will be missing their first day of school. And so one of the twins was like, well, they're going to think Uncle Lamont is our dad. So then you have the other twin like, well, it's okay. It's fine. They don't need to know our business. And so Kelly's just like, well, you can tell them that that's your uncle, So I like how the twins, they're twins, but they just have two complete different personalities. Because you have the one twin worried about, well, they might think this is our dad. Then you have the other twin like, girl, they don't got to know our business. Like, it's fine. So I thought that was too cute. Kelly then starts to tell us. When I say us, she's talking in her confessional, y'all. Because y'all might hear me say that often, but I mean us for real. But she's in her confessional, but she's telling us how it's pretty hurtful that she can't depend on their other parent, their dad, to come get them off to school, see them to school. Basically they don't have a co-parenting relationship at all, and he seemingly abandoned his girls because of what he and Kelly are going through. So then, because you see Kelly go down in the kitchen where Uncle Lamont and her other friend Erica, they're down there making a mess in the damn kitchen, child. But anyway, Lamont tells Kelly, that he got in touch with Mark. Mark is her ex-husband. He's like, I got in touch with him. I was on FaceTime with him last night. And, basically he's saying because of the relationship that he and Mark, had throughout he and Kelly's marriage, he felt like, he would be the one to try to, talk to him and get him to, want to work with Kelly for the girl's sake and, just basically co-parent and get on better terms for the girl's sake. But Lamont was telling Kelly, like, he wasn't trying to hear it. Mark kept shutting it down. Mark kept telling him no. Everything that he would, pose to him, he would say no, regarding, like I said, trying to build a better have a better co-parenting relationship with Kelly. And Mark ain't want that. He don't want that. So, and Kelly got emotional. She got emotional because just like she was saying, it's not fair, that one parent gets to walk away and just like abandon their kids. He don't obviously help take care of them financially. She does it all, and, he just gets to walk away. And it's very hurtful and it's not fair. And she's like, she's never seen a person who doesn't want to take care of their kids. And I'm like, Kelly, girl, what rock you been living under? It's a whole slew of these MFers out here, okay, who was just like Mark. They bitter, they mad if they can't be with you and continue to make your life miserable. They're going to take it out on the kids. So they're going to disconnect from their kids and everything. Like, they don't want, if they can't have you, they don't want none of y'all. That's terrible, but it's the truth. Or whatever. So, anyway. The ladies arrive at the airport. You see them all getting, coming in and arriving. Drew arrives last, as always, to the airport. But I didn't like how Phaedra, was being shady. But we know that's what Phaedra does. That's her MO or whatever. That's how she gets the people going and like her and stuff, because they think she's funny and cute with her dry ass shade. But anyway, Angela was just saying how, she thinks that Phaedra is cool. Pretty much she thinks that Phaedra seems like she's fun and she's going to be a good time, despite the things that she's heard about Phaedra. She wants to get to know Phaedra for herself. And then you have Phaedra over here shading Angela, saying like she's the oldest looking young woman she's ever seen, and that she hopes that Angela's personality is more youthful than her looks or something like that. And I'm just like, Phaedra, you get a slew of plastic surgery and you think your shit look right? Like you think you one of the girls again? You one of the 20-something, 30-somethings again? Girl, stop it, okay? Stop. Like, Phaedra be playing herself, girl, because take all that makeup off and let's see how old you really look, okay? I don't like that. Like, Phaedra, I don't like Phaedra, okay? Ever since she did what she did to Candy, that snake gutter snipe ish she did to Candy, I am not here for Phaedra at all. And then she had a nerve to go over there to Married to Medicine and leave, talking about the girls over there as mean girls, but you come back home to Atlanta Housewives and you doing the same shit. Like, girl. But anyway, so they go to the island. The girls get to the island. Shamea realizes that her bag is not with them, child. The bag is still back home in Atlanta, so she don't got no luggage. You see Cynthia, Drew, and Angela. It's Cynthia, Drew, Angela, and Phaedra. They're all riding together to get to the resort. And, of course, Phaedra immediately, you know, starts being messy. She wants to know, so who's beefing? You know, and Angela points to Drew. She's like, here's the beef right here, pointing to Drew. So, Drew was like, you know, the beef is, you know, that Shamea goes on an interview at a radio station and she basically tries to shade her, saying that she's lying in her lyrics, in her song, Drew's song, where she says she speaks 5 different languages. And anybody with a smart brain, if you heard the song, you would correlate that she meant she's speaking about love languages, and Drew did address it and clarify that. Like she said, I was speaking about my love languages. Like, Shamea was just trying to be shady, like I said, and she continues to make herself look like a fool when she does that. She needs to stop, because this might be your last season holding your little peach that you just got, girl. Okay, you and Brit, both of them could go. Matter of fact, Porsha, Brit, and Shamea, they could take Cynthia back off too, because Cynthia is just there for the trips and the vibes, girl. She's not on the show. She's a friend to the show. So, I mean, y'all need to revamp again. Okay, this was a little revamp. They need to revamp it, revamp it, because this ain't it. But anyway, then we see Phaedra, you know, again, being messy, calling Drew a childhood actor, trying to act like she don't really know much about Drew, calling her a childhood actor, saying how, you know, her outfit was odd, which I felt was odd, that Phaedra was sitting here talking about Drew's outfit when she just had on a shirt and some jeans and her shades. Yeah, her shades was funky, but it went with her vibes. But you sitting there with a fucking dress on where your top middle part of the dress is completely cut out, outlined in the shape of your chest with freaking silver fringes around it, looking like a galactic fool. Okay, like, girl, like, Phaedra, like, before she shade these ladies, do she look in the mirror? Because I don't think so. That's crazy. Or whatever. So, anyway, the girls arrive to the resort. Okay, and they acting like a bunch of desperate divorced housewives. So when they arrive, they are met with steel pan and stilts. Okay, and like I said, then they're acting like a whole desperate divorced housewife. The ones, including Brit. Okay, even though she's like, I'm married, girl, bye. Anyway, like, they act like they never seen men before. You know, chocolate men, fine men. I was like, calm down. Like, they don't. Yo, I don't know. They just irked my nerve. They just really did. When they got off that, when they got on that resort and they seen the men and they sitting there acting like they ain't had a piece of me in years. Like, and I mean, some of them may be true, but come on, y'all gotta act mad thirsty, like, ew. Or whatever. So Kelly and Shamea is hosting a trip, and so they basically picked out the rooms or suites, and they basically paired who they wanted to pair. They call themselves, like, you know, pairing people who don't, you know, who don't really know each other like that to share rooms with. So we have them pairing Brit and Phaedra, Angela and Porsha, and Cynthia and Drew. So those are going to be the people who are paired in a room together. Everybody seemed pretty happy with who they were sharing rooms with. So then they take a toast. And then here we go with the bullshit. Here we go with the bullshit. They take a toast, and under the shot glasses, there are numbers under the shot glasses. So each number indicates what suite they're going to get. So everybody, like I said, got a number. They told them what suite they're gonna be in, but of course the suite that Drew and Cynthia is in, they have a king bed and then they have twin beds. You know, and I don't know, I'm with Porsha. I don't know why they keep doing Drew like that. You know, why y'all gonna do that to Drew? So it left Drew and Cynthia to arm wrestle over who's gonna get the king bed and who's gonna get the twin bed or whatever. So they have a little friendly game of arm wrestling, and I just felt it was very childish, because why are we going through this? Like, we are all grown women. Why are y'all so shady and petty? Like, y'all would even pick a room with got 2 twin beds in it. Like, and I know there was more rooms or suites on that, in that same resort, that had king size or queen size beds alike. Like, I don't understand why y'all keep doing that. Like, that's mad corny. But anyway, so or whatever, and I stay single or whatever, y'all. It is what it is. So the ladies start to head to their suites or whatever to get ready for dinner, but not before Porsha decides to hit on the chef. Okay, again, mad thirsty. She you know, asking the chef could he make some pepper sauce, and you know, just kind of flirting with them. Her friends is egging her on, meaning Shamia and Kelly. They out there, down there, egging her on or whatever. And, you know, she's over there shooting her shot, flirting, hugging on that man, and then even goes to try to kiss him. Okay, I'm like, girl, oh my God. Like, y'all don't know how to act around men? Like, are y'all dead ass? So anyway, like I said, the girls get ready for dinner or whatever, and Shamia tells Kelly that she saw a post on Instagram and of Drew. Basically, Drew made a post on Instagram about people who are, you know, being shady or creating imaginary beef while doing interviews or whatever, and she tagged Shamia in it because Drew was a real one. Like, ain't no subs over here. And that's the same post she tagged Go Naked Hair in. So Shamia obviously felt some kind of way about that. You know, of course, why is she feeling some kind of way about that? Because it was facts. Like, there was not a lie told in that post. You went on a radio station. She's supposed to have been talking about you and your music, but you felt the need to take the moment and the opportunity to shade Drew, who wasn't even there. You know, it was no reason for you to even say what you said about Drew, but you just want to keep an imaginary beef going because your girlfriend Porsha is keeping her beef up with Drew. So that's because you know, that's that childhood high school shit. My friend don't like you, so I don't like you either. My friend beefing with you, so I'm gonna pick a bone with you too. That's what Shamia is on. So Drew said what she said, and like I said, it was not a lie told. So I don't understand why Shamia was offended. I don't understand why you felt the way. Like, but anyway, so back at the suites, Shamia, we got Drew and Cynthia at their suite. Drew ended up doing the right thing, because I kind of was hoping that she did not put Cynthia on them twin beds, because Cynthia, to me, I mean, although Cynthia's not old at all, but she's her elder, you know, and because I don't even think Drew made 40 yet or whatever, but I was hoping she gave Cynthia the room, because Cynthia is like, you know, she's like an OG of housewives. Like, come on, don't put that lady in no twin bed. So Cynthia asks Drew what was her sign. Drew tells her she's a Taurus. That opened the door, or left the door open, for Cynthia to talk about her Taurus. Okay, she's like, oh, my friend Amsterdam is a Taurus. Amsterdam is her little ting ting. Okay, Cynthia done got her a young thing, honey, and then she let us all know what little Mr. Amsterdam be doing, honey, to her. They be having a lot of fun. Okay, Cynthia say he be, well, she ain't say this, I'm saying this. He be blowing that lady back out, and she loving every minute of it, and I love that for her, period. So before they head off to dinner, Cynthia did ask Drew again, you know, about her dating life, and Drew's still saying, you know, she's not dating anyone at this time because Ralph is petty, blah blah blah. So they all load up in a car, you know, separate vehicles. Cynthia's has a nip slip, child. I don't know why that lady breast always popping out of something. Like, girl, get it together. Your little stick tape ain't sticking. So, and of course that like made Phaedra just very happy. Like, she was very happy to see Cynthia's nipples. But anyway, So like I was about to say, they arrived to the dinner. She announced that it was her and Charles's 8th anniversary. And Brit brings up the naked man, you know, that was her and Phaedra saw standing in his window with no clothes on or whatever. Phaedra, thirsty ass, talking about, because I think Kelly said, so y'all had y'all windows open? And so Phaedra was like, well, yeah, I ain't closed the curtains because I wanted to see his dang-a-lang. I'm just like, girl, you is 50-something years old. Calm down. Like, calm down. Like, for you to be walking around here like you miss everything, baby, why you don't get no man? Like, why you don't get none? Because you acting real thirsty every time. Kelly brings up happy endings. She's like, I'm wondering if they do, you know, or if he does, the guy in the window, if he does happy endings. Like, I don't know why she would wonder that. But again, she might have just wanted to bring it up to let the girls know, like, she got happy endings without saying it. So, of course, all the girls is acting like, you know, they don't know what happy ending is. They never had it. Porsha says she never had it or whatever. Then they asked Kelly, well, have you had one? Kelly said, I ain't saying nothing or something like that. I ain't say that or whatever the case. But Kelly absolutely had it. So she's pleading the fifth on it. So the ladies take a cheers to Angela and Charles's anniversary. So everything is seemingly going well at the dinner table until Kelly brings up or calls out Drew and Shamia to resolve their issue. And then that's when everything kind of goes left. Drew and Shamia start doing everything but resolving their issue, child. They begin to argue over the same old nonsense about what was said at the studio, about how Drew said what she said regarding Dennis and his royalties, paying for PJ's college. Drew still stood 10 toes down on what she said. So they kind of started talking over each other. So Kelly was like, hold up. Well, not Kelly. Cynthia was like, hold up, let Drew speak now. Drew goes to speak. And she says, a hit dog gonna holler. Ooh, baby, and the table was in an uproar when she said that. Like, Drew can't just do nothing right in these ladies' eyes, okay? Because when she speaks the truth, everybody gets offended except for Angela. So Drew goes, a hit dog gonna holler. So Shamia is still offended by being called a dog again. And Drew was like, well, she was barking at the table. Yo, I love Drew in this season, for real. But anyway, so Angela steps in. Well, actually, before Angela stepped in, here's Porsha. So Porsha steps in for once, call herself having Shamia back, telling Drew, you know, well, Shamia felt like, you know, you calling her lapdog, she felt like she needed an apology for that. Girl, why? Why would she need an apology if it's the truth? Like, I am not apologizing for shit. Okay? And Drew did not, girl. So then, like I said, Angela steps in and she tells Shamia, like, you know, they do take offense when they're having an intimate conversation, and she runs and tell it back. And Shamia basically says, well, you know, y'all talking behind somebody back, I'm going to go tell it. You know, okay, well, Shamia, then you got to, it worked both ways, boo-boo. It worked both ways. And if you going to go tell something back, then you need to tell it the correct way. Don't go put your own little twist on it to make things seem worse than what it was, okay? Because the way Drew said it was definitely not the way you took it back to Porsha, and you knew what you was doing. So, yeah, being a lapdog, like Drew said, or whatever. So, and Phaedra says to Angela, well, you know, do you really think that you guys were having an intimate conversation with Shamia talking about Porsha, who's her best friend? And so Angela told Porsha, first of all, nobody's trying to pry into your friendship. These are grievances that Shamia brought back to us. Okay, these are things that she brought to us. Okay, and we had an opinion about it. We said something or whatever. So ain't nobody trying to break up your friendship. Ain't nobody trying to come between y'all or whatever the case may be. Talk to Shamia about that, because she the one coming to us telling us about, you know, the feelings that she had regarding you and her. Period. I love me some Angela too, child. So, Kelly had asked Porsha, you know, because Porsha had made a comment like, oh, you know, I just didn't like how everybody was coming to Shamia asking her about me or talking to her about me, but nobody came to me, you know, to ask about our friendship. So Kelly took the opportunity in that moment, was like, well, Porsha, you know, do you feel like you was a good friend to Shamia? Porsha didn't have an answer for that. She didn't have a direct answer for that. So what she did say, and do was deflect. Okay, and then she's like, well, Shamia and I already had a sit down. We already had a conversation. You know, that's that. We good. So she didn't have an answer because she knows she has not been a good friend to Shamia. But Shamia was so intrigued. You know, she was very happy that Porsha was sticking up for her and having her back, because she felt like, you know, all the other times she was left out to dry when defending their friendship. So that made Shamia really happy that Porsha said what she said, even though Porsha didn't never answer the freaking question that was addressed to her. So, but that's Shamia for y'all, child. Kind of move on from that. I thought everything was all good, but here's Kelly again, bringing Drew back again. So here go Kelly. She continued to come at Drew, telling her now that she has an issue with everyone but Cynthia. Everybody at the table, Drew, you got an issue with except Cynthia. So Drew was looking like confused, like what? I was confused with Drew too. Like what? Like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, why do y'all keep bothering that lady? Like, y'all have no reason to really be bothering Drew like that. Drew's issue that she had, well, vice versa. Porsha had an issue with Drew. Shamia inserted herself in the issue with Drew and Porsha. So who else she got a problem with? And Kelly, you keep trying to make a problem with Drew too. Like, I don't understand why everybody coming for Drew this season. I just don't understand. But one thing I respect is, like I said, Drew standing 10 toes down on it, baby. She not having none of that. She putting all of them in place as she should. Like, come on. So, Drew tells Porsha she doesn't have an issue. You know, Porsha seemingly accepted the truth, you know, but not before telling everybody that Drew was dating Black. She had to blow Drew's spot up, because it wouldn't have sat right with her in her chest where it was sitting, that she you know, let it out. So she had to tell everybody at the table that she heard Drew was dating Black, or whatever the case may be, and how, you know, Drew brought up her dating Future or whatever. So Drew continued wasting her breath trying to convince Porsha and the others how she felt about the rumors that Porsha was spreading about her and Dennis. You know, she was just basically trying to defend herself, telling everybody that these rumors were not true, you know, and every time Porsha got around everybody, she would bring those rumors up. So Drew was left with no choice but to defend herself in every single situation, like every time. Like, I don't understand what they don't understand. But anyway, they seemingly, you know, squashed it for now, and they moved on from it or whatever. So then here's Brit, because again, Brit just can't, she just can't, y'all. So Brit decides to bring up to Phaedra that Apollo and his wife did come to her event. They were invited by her husband Mark, or whatever his name is, Mike. I don't know the man name. I'll get it right before the season's over, child. But anyway, she said her husband is the one who invited them, and I didn't have any ill intent. You know, it wasn't anything malicious. So he's just sitting there looking at her like, and along with everybody else, like, girl, why are you telling me this? That ain't my husband no more. That don't got nothing to do with that man. Like, why? What's the reason? Again, Brit and her empty ass head up there. You know, she just had to be in it. Like, she just had to say something. So, anyway, the ladies leave off at the table, you know. Seemingly, like I said, everybody done got what they had to get off their chests for now. We see next episode. It kind of continues, but not necessarily with the same topics. But it kind of continues. The ladies call out Brit for her donation. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But, you know, the next episode don't seem like it's going to really give that much. But, again, I'm looking forward to them calling Brit ass out on her that little weak-ass donation she made. So, that was it, you guys. That was the show. You know, like I said, it was pretty impactful. But, you know, it was a good watch to me. I enjoyed it. And, yeah, so I'll see you guys on my next review next week by the grace of God. I'll be back with my next review. As always, I thank you guys so much for watching, so much for rocking with me. Don't forget to go ahead and hit that like button. Most importantly, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for the vibes. Okay, check out my other vlogs on my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.